I'm Rob from Rob Been Running. I hope you are doing well, staying safe and training hard. So it is race week, and it is also the third episode in the series of our nutritional testing. So this week we are doing the Ultra Trail Snowdonia 50k. So really exciting. My first UTMB race. So really excited for that. It's going to be very, very good. We're going to Lambury in Wales, the start, the National Slate Museum, for the start of the 50k in just under 2 days. So I've decided for the third episode of the nutritional testing to kind of stick with a tried and tested product, and you will see from here that I'm going to be testing the Torq product on race day. Now, you may think I'm balmy for testing a product on race day, but don't worry, because Torq are my standard fueling option, which I've been using now for a good couple of years. I use the Torq gel, this exact one actually. So it's the Raspberry Ripple Torq gel, and I get on all right with that as long as I don't take like too many of them. So that's why I've decided to stick with Torq, because the gels that I've been using work. Yes, there's some risk with some of the other products, but less risk than going with something completely new. So so yeah, let's get stuck into the nutritional testing aspect of this video, and of course we'll go through what we're going to be testing, just as we have done in the last two videos. You know, we've already tested Supernatural Fuel, we've already tested Morton. So if you haven't seen those, go check out the videos on the channel, and also check out the introduction video that was released before those two videos, so that you know what we're doing and why we're doing it. But basically, in a nutshell, I'm testing different types of nutrition in order to improve my race game, so and my training. So, and this week we're focused on Torq Fitness. So, in case you didn't know, Torq Fitness are based in Welshpool, Wales, so perfect for Ultra Trail Snowdonia. Torq have been providing fuel and hydration for 25 years, so they're a well-established brand. They are also the official partner of the Keswick Mountain Festival 2024, and they are fueling a number of professional athletes at the moment. So cyclists, mountaineers, swimmers, runners, and triathletes, with some pretty impressive names amongst their ranks. Torq provide professional performance coaches and fitness consultancy as well as educational videos and educational resources and to help you improve your fitness and your fueling. Torq make a number of products which I'm going to pop on the screen now, notably more than any other brand that we're testing within this testing series. So they provide energy drinks, gels, bars, chews, recovery drinks, hydration and energy drinks, immune system support, Torq snacks, breakfast and meals, Torq Explore, flapjacks, other breakfast meals, pasta meals, desserts, Torq bulk for protein orzo, whey protein products, pea protein, maltodextrin, and more. They make diabetic products. They make ISO 17025 tested products. They make a range of clothing and equipment, and they also make coffee, which for me is really exciting. So at some point I'm going to try their coffee. So yeah, you can see all of that on the website. And there'll be a link in the description below for you to get access to the website as well, to make that easier for you. So today, what are we talking about? We are talking about the Torq fueling system. I bought this pack priced at $23.95 from the Torq website, and it consists of a few products. So we've got some gels in here, we've got some energy bars, we have got some energy chews, and we have got some drink mixes. And the bottle here also came as part of that as well, which is pretty cool. It's a nice bottle, probably aimed more at cyclists, but I'll use that as well, which is good. So let's go into what I'm going to be using on race day, and we're going to start with the gels. So these are the gels. I've got three here. I've got raspberry ripple, sorry, not raspberry ripple, I've got rhubarb and custard, which sounds interesting. black cherry yogurt, and my old faithful raspberry ripple. So these gels, they all give you the same amount of carbohydrates. You've got 29 carbohydrates in a 45 gram gel, which is pretty good. So a couple of these, 58 grams, almost 60 grams per hour, which is pretty good. I'm trying to squeeze towards the 90 mark, but 60 grams is pretty good. We got the energy bars. So these come in 2 flavors. We've got sun-dried banana and zingy apple, so they'll be interesting. Each bar is giving you 34 grams of carbohydrates, and it's a 45 gram bar. It's like a cereal bar, so it shouldn't be too bad to chew. It looks a bit smaller than the Morton ones, which were a nightmare to chew. Well, they're not a nightmare. They went down easy enough, but they just took a while because it was so big. So yeah, but 34 grams of carbohydrates is not bad. So a couple of those is going to give you a decent amount, 68 grams. Onto the energy chews. So these only come in 1 flavour, and it's mango. Interesting, mango is not my preferred choice of flavour, so obviously it'll be interesting to see how that is. And this is called a chew, so it's obviously made from glucose fructose, a bit like the gels. These are maltodextrin and fructose, and the bars are made from mixture of stuff, oats and sugar and syrup and all the stuff you expect from a sticky chewy bar. So yeah, the chews are glucose fructose. I know I've used chews previously from Velo Forte. I've gotten one of those really well, and other brands. I do like chews. Sometimes I find they don't give you as much energy, so you need to have more of them, but this one is giving you 31 grams of carbs, so a bit more than a gel. It feels like, though, rather than broken up into small chews, it's one big long one, so that would be interesting. I've not had that before, or maybe it is split in there in between and it just doesn't feel like it, but be interesting to try that. And then lastly, we have the drink mixes. So we've got 3 of these. We've got blackcurrant, orange, and lemon and lime. So 3 good flavours. Shouldn't be too offensive, I don't think, with those flavours. Each drink mix is giving you 30 carbs in a 33 gram serving. So this will go into a 500 ml bottle, and it will give you a good level of carbs. So I've got 3 of those, which is pretty good. So that should last 3 aid stations. There's 3 en route, I think. So 1 for each, and then I'll just take some backup tailwind as well, just to top myself up. Now, the Ultra Trail Snowdonia route is a 55 kilometre route, but obviously it's not like running on a flat, so it's not like it's going to be a 5-hour run. It's probably more like a 10-hour run. So the amount of fuel I've got here is probably not, well, definitely not enough to get me round. Yes, there's aid stations, 3 aid stations, and I will be eating at those aid stations. They've got things like cheese sandwiches and all the usual stuff that you see at aid stations, sweets and what have you. But I still need to take a little bit more with me. So what I have done today, I purchased some extra Torq bits, exactly the same stuff. I just bought more of it, so I thought, well, it would be a good test just to keep testing this stuff out rather than mixing it out with flapjacks and all the other bits that I normally eat on the run. I thought I'd buy a few more bits of these. So literally I've bought another pack which contains the same bars and chews and gels. So we'll be adding that to this pile, and I'll give you a good roundup of that, obviously, while we're en route and how they're going down and all of that stuff, because I will be filming en route anyway. I'll be filming for the UTS, and obviously I'll be filming as part of this, so it's going to be a bit of a double whammy video. But yeah, so I'll be filming on the way around, so you'll get a sense of how this stuff's working for me on the way around, and then obviously when we come back we'll do a conclusion and go through all of the stats, compare that to the last couple of weeks. So that's what we're going to do. So I'm going to get all of my gear ready, and I will see you in Llanberis, Wales. Yeah, you have to get up early. 3 in the morning to come with you. Good morning. Hope you're doing well, staying safe, training hard. I'm Rob from Rob's Been Running, and we are in Lambris for the UTS50k. So we've just watched the 100k guys go off down the road, and that'll be my turn soon. It's pretty early. It's just gone 5 o'clock, and yeah, we don't start till 7:30, but we were told to get here early, so I think I'm a little bit too early, but hey, we can go and get some coffee and chill out for a bit. So I will be back shortly with my coffee to take you around the event village. See you in a bit. All right, okay, we've got our coffee. So yeah, we're super early, as I said. So yeah, nothing going on here at the moment. Got about 2 hours until the start of the race. But there's plenty of bits and bobs here, so I'll just turn the camera around. Got a couple of organisations around, stuff around Mont Blanc, sorry, not Mont Blanc, Snowdonia. We've got some shoe recycling going on. We've got Vibram here, Scarpa, Phoenix, Sunto and Camelback. We've got NAC Fuel and Hydration. They're the sponsors, one of the sponsors, fuel sponsors of the of this race. We've got Shocks, Torq, Ultra. Got some barefoot stuff going on there, sandals. Lecky here, Man Cave, and then some food. So not a massive event village, ticking off the UTMB World Series, but still enough here, I think. Burgers and pizzas down there for later, so they'll go down well. Yeah, so really just getting myself set, really. I mentioned Torq were here. You'll know that we are just about to do the 3rd installment of our nutrition testing as well, so we're doing that today, and we are testing the Torq products. So Torq being my usual go-to for fueling, and we are going to be testing their new bits out today. So yeah, look forward to seeing how they go, but that's where we're going. It's a pretty impressive site. It's big, so it'll be interesting. Right, I'll catch up with you in a bit. Right, as you can see, we are at the start line of the UTS50k, so we're just waiting. Now we start in about 40 minutes. Everyone's gathering around, so it's getting a bit busier here now. Just outside the National Slate Museum in Lambris. So yeah, so we're getting pretty exciting, so looking forward to it, and can't wait to get started. It's a nice turnout. I think there's about 1,200 people running the 50k today, so it'll be really interesting to see how that goes. But there's going to be some big climbs in this one, so I'm expecting a long day out, but we'll see. I'll catch up with you in a bit.
listening.
Sorry.
No problem at all. Thank you, Matt. So good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Ultra Trail Snowdonia by UTMB. This is the participant briefing for the UTS50k. You are about to embark on a 55-kilometre foot race.
There they go, ladies and gentlemen. 400 intrepid explorers, the Batalla Vanguard team, are drumming off our runners. Good luck to them all. Stay safe, enjoy, have a great day. This is your time. The 50k is underway.
Okay, pretty awesome start of the UTS50k. Loads of atmosphere. Now working our way out of Lambury up the first set of climbs. So it's going to be a good day. It's going to be a warm day, blessed with the weather, but it will get hot later. Alright, see you in a bit. Okay, we are part way up the first climb, 3 miles in. Whew, this is hard work, but beautiful views, stunning. And then we have to go up there. Right, I better get cracking, otherwise I'll never finish it. See you in a bit. Still on our way back down on the first climb. On the way down, oh, it's taking a long time to get up and down this one. It's a big old hill. There was like a mini water stop at the top, just down there, just so we just topped up, but the main checkpoint's down the bottom of this hill. We'll probably top up again, but right, we've just done the first checkpoint, about 10 miles in, and yeah, much needed stop. God, I was knackered when I got there. I feel a bit better now, a bit more refreshed. Topped up with water, no food at that one, but we'll be at the next one. Right, we're going to crack on, see you in a bit. Okay, we've just done the summit of Snowdon. That's the second summit today, and yeah, God's hard work getting up there. We're now making our way down onto the next one. So that's for checkpoint. Luckily, there's a shop at the top, so we managed to fill up our water bottles because we're completely empty. But yeah, we're still moving. That's the best thing I can say. See you soon. Right, so we've just completed the second checkpoint. We are about 21 miles into this 55k race, so I reckon 12-13 miles left, something like that. Thankfully the two biggest climbs are done. There's two smaller climbs to do, but I'm hoping that they will be more manageable. But we're okay. 8 legs are obviously hurting, got a few niggles here and there, but nothing unusual for an ultra marathon. And yeah, I mean, the views are beautiful, so at least that helps. But right, I'm going to crack on and I will speak to you in a bit. Hello, right, we are at the top of the third fell, so one more to go. Make our way down now to where the last aid station is, and then yeah, oh, try and clear that a bit. Sorry, yeah, so at the top of the third fell, one more to go. Just making our way back down now to where the last aid station is, and then we will make our way up that last fell, which is going to be hard work because my legs are beat, but we'll see. Sorry not being able to film much, it's just too hard with the sticks in the hand, you know, so but I'll do what I can and I'll definitely film the end, so I'll see you then. Right, that's the last checkpoint done. We are going towards the very last hill or mountain, which we've got to go up, and that's over there. So, bit of a beast for the end, but yeah, we'll get it done. About 9 miles to go. See you in a bit. Hello, quick update. So we have done the last summit. Now working our way down back towards Lambros. Got about 5 miles left, so hoping to get this done pretty soon. There's a little bit of a climb to come yet, but not much. We'll get that done and then we'll be back. We can see Lambros from where we are now. That's just down there where the lakes are, and we've got to go along there. So nearly there. Catch up near the finish line. Okay, we're just coming into Lambros now. Oh, we've nearly finished. About 100 metres or so to go, and then we are done. God, this has been hard. It's taken just over 12 hours. 12 hours quarter, maybe. Oh, right, I'll see you in the running. Right, we come around to the Slate Museum now. Nearly there. I'll let you enjoy the view. We come to the Slate Museum now. Thank you. Thank you. Here we come. Right, so we are back from Wales, back from Llanberis, after completing the UTS50k. So apologies for not filming that much. It was just very difficult, not only just to film, but also the race himself was difficult, but in particular clambering over mountains, it seems, is not that easy when you're trying to film. So yeah, you'll notice I didn't talk too much about nutrition, or pretty much not at all about nutrition, because I was too busy trying to keep myself together on that run. We'll go into the Torq nutrition stuff in a minute. But the race itself, obviously, I was in the first wave of 3 for the 50k, so I was the first 400 out of 1200 runners. We left Llanberis, National Slate Museum, made up our way up a first climb, and it was all fine actually. You have seen from the first shot as we went up the first set of climbs on the video that it's a hell of a climb coming out of there. Indeed, the first climb that we took on was a bit of a beast actually. It was the second largest of the two, Snowdon being the biggest. So it took, in total, it took me 2 hours to get up and down that first climb, which is pretty amazing really when you think it wasn't that far, you know. So yeah, it really taken it out of you, and I think that was the surprise. I mean, it was yes, I did the lap in the Lake District last year, but I was well aware that the comparison between the two would be quite vast, and it was. So yeah, that was a shock to my system, I think. So it took me longer to get around the course than I would have wanted, but at the same time, the way my training had gone with the injuries that I had, I suppose I should be thankful that I made it round really. So so yeah, but it was definitely tough. It was a tough day. It was a hot day as well. The weather was really warm, same conditions as the year previously. So yeah, that made it tricky as well. So we're going through a lot of water, and we did, you know, at times run out of water, despite the fact I was carrying 1.5 litres with me all the time. Yeah, we were just going through it because of the heat, really. So as I said, I got up to the first climb, got down. There's a water stop part of the way down, so I filled up there. And then when we got down to the first aid station, I filled up some of my bottles again because I'd already gone through another 1/2 litre, pretty much. And the first aid station was water only. And then we left there. I was feeling pretty ropey actually when I got there. I just things weren't working very well, but I left there in much better condition, which was good. There was no food at the first aid station, so just drink. And then made our way up the second climb, which was Snowdon itself. And again, another really hard climb, particularly the way that we went up it. The route, the way it takes you up is a difficult route. A lot of scrambling with your hands as well, up some pretty steep rocks. So yeah, not easy. It's definitely not easy on the feet. That's one thing I will say, is that I rolled both my ankles. I rolled the right ankle twice, the left ankle once. It's so easy to do on that because the ground is so just unstable. There are footpaths, but the footpaths when you're coming down those mountains are just rocks that have been bashed into the ground, so that it's really rickety. So lots of undulating terrain to be careful about. So but yeah, that was what we were expecting. So in that respect, it was kind of did what it said on the tin. That race, it was a tough race with tough conditions. But yeah, we got to the top of the second climb, Snowdon, and there's a shop at the top of there, a cafe, which was heaving with people. There's a lot of tourists around there heaving with people. That made it difficult as well because I'd totally run out. Like a lot of people had totally run out of fluids by the time we got to the top of that cafe. So everybody was queuing up for water. And the queues were big, so you wasted a lot of time up there. If you could have got up there, or maybe it'd been a cooler day and you didn't need to top up, you could have probably knocked I reckon I could have knocked 20 minutes off my time, maybe even 30. And that's how long it took to queue up and get the water and everything. So get rehydrated and then get going again. I'd say it's a good 30 minutes. So that would have knocked a fair chunk off the time. So it's something to consider really on hot weather days. I'm not sure you have much choice but to buy bottles of water there. But it's always going to be heaving, that place on a hot day, because there's just so many people walk up the mountain. Or get the train up. So anyway, made our way down to the bottom of Snowdon to the next aid station. That one had food, and that was, I can't remember how many hours in that was. It must have been 6 hours in, which is crazy, right? Because I think the first aid station was 10 miles, maybe just over 10 miles in. Sorry, the second aid station would have been, first one was 10 miles in, the second one would have been 15, something like that. I don't know. I need to go back and work it out. But it was, I kind of lost track at that point. I was just getting from aid station to aid station. So, yeah, got to the bottom of Snowdon. Got out that aid station. There was food in that one, so I was yamming sandwiches and bits and bobs, and just trying to keep cool, rehydrated. I had some spray hoses and things like that kicking around, so I was just drenching myself in water. And equally, any streams that we saw on the way down the mountain, any running streams, dipping a hat in there, trying to cool off that way. And then yeah, went up the third climb. The third climb was still pretty brutal. It wasn't as big as the first two, but it was still pretty brutal. And by that point, my legs were already feeling it. Wasn't too bad on the downhills. On the uphills, I was struggling. I mean, I'm not a good climber anyway. One of the weak points of my racing is climbing. Hence, trying to get better at it with these races. But yeah, went up the third hill, fell, shall I say, not hill, and that wasn't such a struggle as Snowdon that, but it was still hard work. And then yeah, got to the bottom of that last aid station. Again, a few snacks, some water. Took a bit of time there to try and cool off because I was cooking at that point. Again, they had spray hoses there, so I was cooling off there. and then yeah, we made the made our way out for the last climb. And again, the last climb wasn't as big as the others, but it was after the impact of the others, you know, it just felt quite hard work. But it's also a little bit of a tricky one, because you got to the peak, went, and then you started descending, and then you had to peak again on the last one, and then there was a few little hills on the way back which seemed to be thrown in just for good measure, really, as opposed to actually needing them in order to complete the mileage. But yeah, I think there was probably easier routes back, but the race organizer yeah, decided to throw a few nasties in there. And then we made our way back towards Lambris, and the way back I was pretty cooked at that point. I was certainly, my arms were burnt. I'd been putting on sun lotion, but you know, the sweat all comes off, doesn't it? But yeah, I mean, all in all, I have to say I'm happy because I got round it. 12 hours 17 minutes was the official time. As I said, if I hadn't spent half an hour at the top of Snowdon, that would have been 11 hours, which would have been nicer. You know, 11 hours 45 or something like that certainly would have been nicer. But we'll take it, because it was my first time doing that kind of level of mountain ultra, so fell ultra, and it meant I got my 2 running stones for UTMB. So next year I can go into the lottery to run one of the races at the UTMB in France. So fingers crossed for that. Here's the medal. So really nice medal. So nice big metal one. I know people will go for sustainable medals these days, the wooden ones, but actually when you run something like that, I think you achieve so much that you deserve a medal of that, like that. And medals don't mean everything for everybody, but it's a nice memento, and it's, you know, it's well made, which is good. So they're becoming rarer actually in races. So on to nutrition. So as you can imagine, nutrition was difficult to talk about in a race. So it turns out that doing a test of nutritional product and racing, they kind of go hand in hand together, but they don't. And the reason I say that is because obviously it's a perfect place to test nutrition because you're having so much of it. Turns out it's really, really difficult to talk about it while you're racing, particularly up mountains. It would have been easier if we weren't doing so much elevation, I think. I had the poles in my hands completely all the time, which meant A, you had to remember to eat. So luckily my watch had an alarm on it to do that. But B, you then had to put the poles away whilst you were trying to eat, and then eat and talk when you're panting away like a lunatic is quite difficult. So yeah, apologies for not really talking about the Torq energy products when we were there. I can talk about them now. What I'm going to do though is only focus on the first 4 hours of the race, and the reason that is because after we got to the second aid station at Snowdon, I think my nutritional plan didn't go out the window, but at the same time I was eating anything I could get my hands on. So it's really hard to then compare that to the performance of the Torq versus the other products that we tested in Morton and Supernatural Fuel. So I'm going to talk about the first 4 hours because I did, for the first 4 hours, survive completely on the Torq products. And that was just because there was no food until the second aid station, so therefore that was everything that I was eating what I had on me. So I've got a couple of bits left here. So there's an energy bar here, the mango one, and then I've got some gels left as well. So what the interesting thing about this is though is that, you know, I said my goal was to try and get 90 grams of carbohydrates in per hour, and I actually achieved that, which is pretty good. I still don't think I had enough energy. I could have eaten probably double that, to be honest with you. But so for the first hour, so we're talking about the first climb really up the first mountain, I had one gel, so that's 29 grams of carbohydrates, and I had the chew bar. Now I don't have the tube left because I ate all of those. The chew has 31 grams of carbohydrates, so that's 60 grams of carbohydrate. But also I drank a full bottle of the drink mix, so 500 mils of the Torq drink mix, which also has 30 grams of carbohydrates. So in total I had 90 grams in the first hour. In the second hour I had another bottle of the drink mix, so that's descending the first climb. I also had another gel, and I had one of these bars. and these ones have 34 grams of carbohydrates in them. So the second hour actually had 93 grams of carbohydrates, which was awesome. The third hour, and back to one of those chew bars and another gel and another drink mix. So that again was 90 grams of carbohydrates. And then on the fourth hour, I'd run out of the chew bars, I think, by then. And I was also struggling away around Snowdon. So I ended up with just taking 2 gels that hour because I was struggling to I didn't want to put poles away, so the gel was the quickest thing to eat, and you know, you can suck those down really quickly. So 2 of these gels were 58 grams of carbohydrates. And then I had another drink mix, but this time the drink mix was Tailwind. So I'll count it, but wasn't Torq because I'd run out of Torq ones, but I had 3 of those drink sachets. So I'd used all 3 of those, and then I had a Tailwind, which is also 30 grams of carbohydrates. So in the fourth hour, I got 88 grams of carbs in. But if we just stick mainly on the first 3 hours to begin with, I think that's the 90 grams for the first hour, 93 grams for the second hour, and 90 grams for the third hour. I mean, that's pretty good going, I think. I had 0 stomach issues as well, which is a complete bonus. So yeah, I mean, I have to say these have worked well for me. Now, I was already using the Torq gels previously, so I've used those in loads of races, so I knew that the gels were okay with me. And I don't usually take that many gels. Funnily enough, I took quite a few gels across Snowdon, mainly, as I said, because convenience. It was easy to take them down, and I didn't have any issues. Now, usually I try to stick to gels towards the end of a race, but to be fair, no issues, stomach issues at all. And also I had no stomach issues from the other products. So in that respect, success, really good. So I'm really happy that these Torq products worked. Talk about the products themselves. Start with the chew. So we know all about the gels. The gels are standard gels. You know, they are fructose and maltodextrin gels. So standard type of gel. Lots and lots of flavors. Easy to take down. No issues with gels at all, really. Test standard consistency for a gel as well. So quite, not thick, but you know what I mean, use a syrupy type of mixture. So we know all about the gels. The solid bars and the chew were interesting. So the chew, I mentioned to you before that I use Velay Forte chews, and I did use them in the Snowdon in the latter half of the race. I was using those as well. But in those first block of 4 hours, I didn't use those. I was using the Torq stuff, and the chew that Torq developed, as I remember saying, it's in a bar like this. It's not split up into little cubes like you get with the Velay Forte chews and some of the other chews on the market, and it also hasn't got the same texture. So the Velay Forte chews and the other chews on the market are like Turkish Delight. You put them in, super squidgy, they disintegrate pretty much in your mouth, give you a bit of a sugar hit, and typically hold around 15 grams of carbohydrates. The chew bar on this was just like a long, full size, just chewy chew bar. I would liken it to some confectionery, really. If you think of some of the chew bars that you might have eaten back in the day, like a Wham bar, something like that. It's not as tough as those bars, it's easier to chew, but it's similar consistency, it's chewy. You sit there and gnaw on it. Not super convenient, loads of sugar in it, you know, you definitely get your energy kick. So in that respect, great, but not super convenient when it comes to taking it in, because you got to unwrap it, it's pretty sticky, and then you're chewing away, and it took me quite a while to get through that. I took that first chew bar on the first climb when we did the video shot. You saw that when we were coming out that first climb, and I was saying that it was hard work. I was eating that chew bar then, and it took me probably about a good 100 meters or so of climbing to get rid of that bar, to finish it off. So that's a consideration. They're not particularly easy to take down. They do their job when they're in, but they're not easy to take down. And then these were pretty much fine. They're like a cereal bar. bit squidgier than a steering bar, a bit sticky, but quite easy to take down, so no problems with those bars. It was just the chew. It wasn't what I was expecting. I was expecting it to be chewy like like the other chews that I'd had before, and it wasn't like that. So interesting when picking my way through the Torq products, maybe in the future, which ones I use, which ones I don't. I'll definitely be using the gels. I'll definitely be using these these bars, because these were, I'll say, easy to use. I might use the chews, I might not. Depends on the race, I think. Particularly if it's difficult, like with poles like we had now, so maybe Lakeland 50 coming up. I may not use the chews for that, because I can imagine with the Lakeland race I'll have the poles in my hand quite a bit as well. Maybe not as much as Snowdon, but definitely a fair bit, because there is some pretty big old climbs over there, so in the lakes. So we'll see. But otherwise, I'd say a successful test with the Torq products. So really happy with how those went. Really happy with the energy levels that I got. Just to touch on the total carbs for the 4 hours that I got, where we did this testing, 361 carbohydrates and sodium, interestingly enough, across those 4 hours, 1,441 milligrams. Not as much as we got out of those Morton products, but still pretty good. So, and most of that sodium actually was in the drink mix and in the gels, funnily enough. The chew didn't have any sodium in it at all, and the bar had small 80 milligrams of sodium in it. So, so yeah, interesting experiment. So that's the end of the testing for Torq. That was the UTS50k. I hope you really enjoyed it. Sorry I didn't film as much as I wanted to. I'll try and do a better job at Lakeland, hopefully, if I can. It was definitely tricky though to do that. I mean, as I say, filming going up and down mountains is harder than I'd expected it to be. I knew it was going to be hard, but I didn't think it'd be that hard. You're just concentrating so much on your footing that getting a camera out and filming is not always the first thing you think about. But yeah, I need to do a better job of that, obviously, in lakes. So I will try to do that. Obviously, the last instalment of the nutrition testing is going to be with the precision hydration products. I won't be doing that this week because we're recovering from UTS. I will do that next week though, when I go on my long run on the weekend, and we'll test out those products, and then we'll bring you the last instalment of the video, and we'll do a conclusion and wrap up the testing and how that's gone. But I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please like, share, subscribe, all of the good stuff. Thank you very much, really appreciate it. And I will see you on the channel soon. Train hard, race hard, have fun. Till next time, see you soon.